Good morning, sixth graders. I hope everybody is doing great today. We are going to go ahead and switch social studies and language arts like we've been doing lately, and I'm going to rush past the social studies part in this video just because we already did that as a class during our Zoom session. So really quick, today is all one color day. Tomorrow is beach or Hawaiian day. Today and this week, we are going to be working on all of our CSI stuff. So today we're doing slide 8. Okay, so this is all the CSI stuff. These are the teams today, or the jobs today. I've already gone over them with you. Okay, all the regular stuff. Okay, book talk. I forgot to grab it and have it with me, but today's book talk is Girl Stolen. It is by April Henry. April Henry writes a lot of mystery, suspense, scary stories, and Girl Stolen is one that I'm actually in the middle of reading right now. It is about a girl who stays in her stepmom's car while her stepmom runs in to get her a prescription because she has pneumonia. And while she's there, the mom leaves the car running because it's cold so that she can have the heater, and the car gets stolen with her in the back. And so that's what the story is about. And then the twist is, and it's not a spoiler because it says it pretty soon on, is she's blind. So not only she has pneumonia, she's blind, and she's been kidnapped. And my dogs are going crazy. But anyway, okay, so that's that. That's Girl Stolen. It's really good. And then, like I said, April Henry has a lot of books if you like that genre. In language and literature today, we are going to be reading another short story called Daedalus and Icarus. It's a really good story. It's a Greek myth. So I think that you're going to like it, and especially Greek myths will become more interesting to you as we go on and start studying Greece. Okay, so Daedalus and Icarus from Greek Myths by Geraldine McCowran. Okay, so the first read. As we listen to this first read, I want you to look for and mark the different events of the plot. And I should have put a plot, the different parts of plot in here, but the most important one that we're going to be talking about today is the exposition. And the exposition is where it's first set up, and we learn about the setting, we learn about the characters and the problem. So remember, it goes exposition, then the conflict, then the rising action. So you're going to listen for and mark the different elements of the plot, okay? And then you're going to circle unknown words and phrases. So if there's parts of it that you don't understand, and there might be a few of those, especially with it being a Greek myth, go ahead and just circle those, and then you're going to try and determine the meaning of the words by using context clues, word parts, or a dictionary. Context clues are one of my favorite things. You can figure out almost any word by using context clues. All right, so that's that. I'm going to read again. These are your two jobs. I'm going to leave those up on the screen. So if you're like, what am I supposed to be doing again? You can look up and read those. Okay, so as I read and you follow along, you should have a pencil with you. Okay, and just try to ignore my dogs in the background. They're just playing. Okay, so Daedalus and Icarus. The island of Crete was ruled by King Minos, whose reputation for wickedness had spread to every shore. One day he summoned to his country a famous inventor by the name of Daedalus. Come, Daedalus, and bring your son Icarus too. I have a job for you, and I pay well. King Minos wanted Daedalus to build him a palace with soaring towers and a high curving roof. In the cellars, there was to be a maze of many corridors, so twisting and dark that any man who once ventured in there would never find his way out again. What is it for? Asked Daedalus. Is it a treasure vault? Is it a prison to hold criminals? But Minos only replied, build my labyrinth as I told you. I build you to pay, not to ask questions. So Daedalus held his tongue and set to work. When the palace was finished, he looked at it with pride, for there was nowhere in the world so fine. But when he found out the purpose of the maze in the cellar, he shuddered with horror. For at the heart of that maze, King Minos put a creature that was half man, half beast, a thing almost too terrible to describe. He called it the Minotaur, and he fed it on men and women. Then Daedalus wanted to leave Crete at once and forget both the maze and the Minotaur. So he went to King Minos to ask for his money. I regret, said King Minos. I don't know if it's Minos or Minos, sorry. I cannot let you leave Crete, Daedalus. You are the only man who knows the secret of the maze and how to escape from it. The secret must never leave this island. So I'm afraid I must keep you and Icarus here a while longer. How much longer? Gasped Daedalus. Oh, just until you die, replied King Minos cheerfully. But never mind. I have plenty of work for a man as clever as you. Daedalus and Icarus lived in great comfort in King Minos' palace, but they lived the life of prisoners. Their rooms were in the tallest palace tower, with beautiful views across the island. They ate delectable food and wore expensive clothes. No talk. But at night, the door of their fine apartment was locked and a guard stood outside. It was a comfortable prison, but it was a prison even so. Daedalus was deeply unhappy. Every day, he put seed out the windowsill for the birds. He liked to study their brilliant colors, the clever overlapping of their feathers, the way they soared on the sea wind. It comforted him to think that they at least were free to come and go. The birds had only spread their wings, and they could leave Crete behind them, whereas Daedalus and Icarus must stay forever in their luxurious cage. Young Icarus could not understand his father's unhappiness. But I like it here, he said. The king gives us gold and this tower to live in. Daedalus groaned. But to work for such a wicked man, Icarus, and to be prisoner all our days. We shan't stay. We shan't. But we can't get away, can we? Said Icarus. How can anybody escape from an island? Fly? He snorted with laughter. Daedalus did not answer. He scratched his head and stared out of the window at the birds pecking seed on the sill. From that day onward, he got up early each morning and stood at the open window. When a bird came for the seed, Daedalus begged it to spare him one feather. Then, each night, when everyone else had gone to bed, Daedalus worked by candlelight on his greatest invention of all. Early mornings, late nights, a whole year went by. Then one morning, Icarus was awakened by his father, shaking his shoulder. Get up, Icarus, and don't make a sound. We are leaving Crete. But how? It's impossible. Daedalus pulled out a bundle from under his bed. I've been making something, Icarus. Inside were 4 great folded fans of feathers. He stretched them out on the bed. They were wings. I sewed the feathers together with strands of wool from my blanket. Now hold still. Daedalus melted down a candle and daubed his son's shoulders with the sticky wax. Yes, I know it's hot, but it will soon cool. While the wax was still soft, he stuck 2 of the wings into Icarus's shoulder blades. Now you must help me put on my wings, son. When the wax sets hard, you and I will fly away from here, as free as birds. I'm scared, whispered Icarus as he stood on the narrow window ledge, his knees knocking and his huge wings drooping down behind. The lawns and the courtyards of the palace lay far below. The royal guards looked as small as ants. This won't work. Courage, son, said Daedalus. Keep your arms out wide and fly close to me. Above all, are you listening, Icarus? Yes, father. Above all, don't fly too high. Don't fly too close to the sun. Don't fly too close to the sun, Icarus repeated, his eyes tight shut. Then he gave a cry as his father nudged him off the windowsill. He plunged downward. With a crack, the feathers behind him filled with wind, and Icarus found himself flying. Flying. I'm flying, he crowed. The guards looked up in astonishment and wagged their swords and pointed and shouted. Tell the king, Daedalus and Icarus are flying away. By dipping first one wing, then the other, Icarus found that he could turn turn to the left and the right. The wind tugged at his hair. His legs trailed out behind him. He saw the fields and streams as he had never seen them before. Then they were out over the sea. The seagulls pecked at him angrily, so Icarus flew higher, where they could not reach him. He copied their shrill cry and taunted them. "You can't catch me." "Now remember, don't fly too high," called Daedalus, but his words were drowned by the screaming of gulls. "I'm the first boy ever to fly. I'm making history. I shall be famous," thought Icarus as he flew up and up, higher and higher. At last, Icarus was looking the sun itself in the face. "Think you're the highest thing in the sky, do you?" he jeered. "I can fly as high as you, higher even." He did not notice the drops of sweat on his forehead. He was so determined to outfly the sun. Soon its vast heat beat on his face and on his back and on the great wings stuck on with wax. The wax softened. The wax trickled. The wax dripped. One feather came unstuck. Then a plume of feathers fluttered slowly down. Icarus stopped flapping his wings. His father's words came back to him clearly. "Don't fly too close to the sun." With a great sucking noise, the wax on his shoulders came unstuck. Icarus tried to catch hold of the wings, but they just folded up in his hands. He plunged down, his 2 fists full of feathers, down and down and down. The clouds did not stop his fall. The seagulls did not catch him in their beaks. His own father could only watch as Icarus hurtled headfirst into the glittering sea and sank deep down among the sharks and eels and squid. And all that was left of proud Icarus was a litter of waxy feathers floating on the sea. Okay, so we're going to be talking about this story all week, but that's all we're going to do today because today is a super short day, and I just want to kind of let it sink in for you to think about for tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.